Well, I know I'm quite late, but I've only recently gotten into the world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and I was particularly pleased to discover that there are many citations from the Italian language, especially in part 5. Well, the story is basically one big Italian reference, both in geographic terms, Venezia, Napoli, Roma, and linguistic terms, like arrivederci or volare via. I thought I'd be making a video about the Italian names of the characters who appear in the anime. But let's of course start with the main character, the main JoJo of part 5, Giorno Giovanna, which you don't call Giorno Giovanna, it's Giorno Giovanna, and the name doesn't really make sense in Italian, not at all. Or better, it could if Giovanna were the name and Giorno the surname, because Giorno means actually day in Italian, while Giovanna is a common first name, but it is used for women, and it's definitely not a surname. I don't know, there could have been a lot of plausible alternatives, like using one of the many names that starts with G-I-O in Italian, like Giovanni or Giorgio. But nonetheless, I think that the name Giorno fits at least a bit with the whole light and gold themes which are constantly used for the visuals regarding Giorno Giovanna. There is indeed an Italian way of saying il mattino all'oro in bocca, which literally translates to morning has gold in its mouth, to refer to the fact that it's worth getting up early to get things done, although I never do that. And if morning has gold in its mouth, well, it just makes sense that Giorno has gold in his soul, I think. Well, there wouldn't be any good Italian citation if it hadn't mafia in it, right? And even in JoJo, the story actually revolves around a mafia organization called Passione, which unsurprisingly means passion. And it is not too bad for a gang name, I gotta say that. And the first gang star we are introduced to is Bruno Bucciarati, one of my favorite characters. His full name is possibly one that makes the most sense, at least until you read part 6. Bruno is a common Italian first name, while I could see Bucciarati being an actual Italian surname. Moreover, it seems that the original surname for Bruno was Buccellati, which actually is a famous Italian surname referring to a big jewelry and watch company. I've also discovered that a type of Sicilian fig cookies is called Buccellati. Yummy. And then we move on to the 4 members of the Bucci gang. First, Leone Abbacchio. The name means lion, and although uncommon, it is an actual first name used in Italy, especially in reference to Pope names. His surname instead is a term used especially in central regions of Italy to refer to the lamb, and I fear it doesn't really make for a plausible family name at all. Guido Mista. Guido is a fairly common first name in Italy. Well, I've never really heard of a surname like Mista, but it's definitely not as implausible as Abbacchio for sure. Mista is a feminine adjective meaning mixed, as in insalata mista, that is a salad with different vegetables mixed together. Narancia Girga. Although the surname Girga doesn't really mean anything in Italian, it is a plausible family name, all in all. What really doesn't make sense here is the first name. I reckon it comes from the word arancia, which means orange, the fruit. But there is really no linguistic reason for the starting N, unless you use Roman dialect. Then that N would be an abbreviation for the article in front of the word. from un'arancia to Narancia, but I don't think this was the intent here. Then we have fugo panna cotta. In this case, nothing really makes sense. Fugo is not an Italian first name, and I can't really make sense of where it might come from. Unless it is some archaic version of a word which I don't know of, we only currently find the term fugo as suffix for adjectives refer to the concept of escaping, fuggire in Italiano. That is also the ultimate technique of the Joestar family, so everything has come full circle, I'd say. About the surname, well, maybe you already know, but panna cotta is an Italian dessert, which literally translates to cooked cream. It is made of sweetened cream, thickened with gelatin and molded. Of course, I'm reading everything I'm saying because I cannot remember these. And although it might sound strange to you, it's not really usual to have surnames referring to dishes or food in Italy. Well, later on in the story, another member joins the Bucci gang, Trish Una. Trish is a totally legitimate name, although it sounds more American than Italian, but I cannot exclude that someone might name their daughter this way even in Italy. Una instead is the feminine version of the word one, used mainly as article, adjective or pronoun referring to feminine terms. I'd say that it's not entirely impossible that a surname like Una could exist in Italy, but for sure, in the end, I'd say that Bruno Bucciarati is by far the most plausible name. If this video gets any kind of feedback, I'll follow up with the